Hello and welcome back to Rev Real Estate School. I'm your host, Michael Montgomery, and today we're talking about how we can generate listing leads without contacting our sphere. Now, when it comes to generating listing leads outside of our sphere, this is actually a pretty tricky question. And the reason for that is the majority of listing leads are going to come from our sphere or repeat past clients. So we have to start thinking a little bit outside of the box if we do not want to go down the sphere of influence route. So what you're going to notice as we're going through these strategies is you're going to notice that some of these are pretty familiar to you, but each one of them has a twist. And these twists are there because they tend to generate a better response right now in the current day and age. So our first strategy, this is Google and Facebook ads. Yes, I know you're familiar with these. We actually don't tend to talk a lot about them. We focus a lot more on the relationship side of real estate, but Google and Facebook ads can still work. However, the quality of the leads tends to be a little suspect. So what can we do in order to improve that? Well, you are going to create a Google and Facebook ad, and within the ad copy, it's going to state human-generated home values. Human-generated home values. Then when they click on the ad, they're going to be drawn over to a landing page. And in the landing page, you're going to say that these home values are not generated by AI. So what are we doing here? Well, people are very familiar with the concept of automated home value reports. These are extremely common nowadays, so we're going to be zigging when everyone else is zagging. Everyone's going towards this concept of automation. We're going to move towards the human approach. Now, what's interesting about this is the number of leads you get may be lower, but the quality of the leads is going to be a lot higher. And that is because if they're looking for a human-generated report, they're usually a little bit further along the buying cycle in the sense that they're getting ready to list pretty soon, whereas if they just wanted to click on some automated report, they're probably just curious. Next, we have geofarming. Geofarming, again, is a strategy that a lot of us may be familiar with, but what can we do in order to start generating some listing leads from geofarming? Well, truly, when it comes to geofarming, we're not just going to convert anybody with one postcard. We still have to build the relationship with people within the community. So how can we do this? Well, we're going to do this in a non-salesy way. You're going to be door knocking in the community, and you're going to be inviting people to an upcoming event. So you're going to be having an event, you're going to be door knocking solely for the purpose of inviting people within that community to the event. As simple as that. And then once you come to the event and they're at the event, you're having conversations and you're building relationships within the community. This strategy works very well to start forming these connections with people that aren't solely focused around real estate. Now, the next strategy that you're going to use when it comes to geofarming is you are going to send out postcards with a QR code. Now, on that QR code, people can click into that QR code and it is going to be something that you're giving away. So maybe if it's coming up to Halloween, you're going to be doing pumpkin giveaways. And what people are going to do here is they're simply going to put in their name, their email address, and they're going to decide, do you want it to be delivered to them or are they going to come pick it up from you? And so just by doing this very simple landing page, what you're going to do is you're going to get a ton of email addresses as people go to the QR code, which takes them to a landing page, and they put in their name, email, and if they want you to deliver it or if they're going to come pick it up. Very simple. And this also avoids you buying a bunch of products that you don't end up using. This is a fantastic strategy for starting to grow our email list for people within our geofarm. Next, we're going to create 2 groups on Meetup. Now, it can be Meetup, it can be Eventbrite, but Meetup tends to work quite nicely. And you are going to be creating these events. Yes, of course, you can go to other events that are out there. However, we need you to be the leader at least 2 events. Now, one of these events is going to be business networking. And within the ad for this event and within the description, you're going to indicate, please no realtors. Now, what you're going to get from this is, of course, some realtors are going to want to come to these events so that they can network. But if you are the host, I would just call that out directly in the description. I know an agent who does this very well. And right within the Meetup description, he says, I'm a realtor, therefore I request that no realtors join. And you know what? It works really nicely. So yes, it may come across as a little jarring to think about doing that, but then again, you're also not going to get a bunch of realtors that are coming to the event. And honestly, if we're hosting the event and we're doing business networking events, generally people understand the reason why we're doing this is to grow our network. Now, the second event that you're going to create is going to be something around your interests. And this doesn't even need to be something wild. So maybe your interests are walking dogs, so it can be a dog walking group, or it can just be walking or coffee tasting or trying different places for lunch or brunch. Maybe it's also around the community and community involvement or kids. And you're going to create this event And both of these events are going to be reoccurring events. So it's not just a one and done. You're going to have this business networking once a month, and then you're also going to have this other meetup around an interest of yours once a month as well. Now, this strategy always blows my mind at how much this actually leads to listings. Because when we are actually hosting the event, we are seen as the leader, and people at the event are talking about us. We're the ones that actually created and orchestrated the event. It always surprises me at how many listing leads come from this after we've done this a few times and we started to have a repeating cadence of how often we have these events. It was actually mind-blowing how many leads people get from these. Next, we have the classic open houses, but we're going to do this with a twist. So generally speaking, people are pretty familiar with the concept of the open house and what actually is going to occur, but we have to differentiate it. So the first thing is this. No sign-in sheet. We are not asking anybody to sign in. In fact, we can call that out as soon as they walk into the house. We can say, hi, how are you? Don't worry, I'm not going to make you sign in or anything like that. And this just helps them lower their guard so much. So no sign-in sheets at open houses. We need to get rid of those. Next, what we're going to do in setting up this open house, it needs to be around some sort of concept. Maybe that's a barbecue. The other strategy that I love is cookie tasting. So you're going to go to some local cookie shop and you're going to get a number of different cookies, and it's going to be a cookie tasting. This is fantastic for kids as well as adults, of course. But I do like to stay away from any tasting relating to alcohol. And the reason for that is in certain areas, we just cannot do that without a license. And plus, it's just risky. So I tend to keep this focused around food or some sort of small event and do it an open house and cookie tasting event. Then, of course, you're going to have to invite all of the neighbors and watch what happens, because people are going to come and they're going to talk about that one open house where there was a cookie tasting. And yes, this is going to generate leads. You're going to get more people that show up, and the people that are there are going to remember you a lot more. Next, we have online seminars. Now, the reason why we're saying online is because when we're doing these seminars, when we do them in person, they can actually be quite costly. There can be a lot of nerves around how many people are actually going to show up. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? However, if we do it online, we can just do it in webinar format so that people don't know how many attendees are there. And maybe you have 2 people and you're discussing what it's like to buy or what it's like to sell in today's market. Now, you're going to have to run ads to actually generate people to come to these. However, they can be very, very effective. And you can also use Eventbrite, or you can even use Meetup for that matter, in order to have people attend these. And do it online, do it in webinar format so people don't see how many people are there. And honestly, even if you have a couple, those are 2 more people that could potentially be looking to buy or sell in the near future. So we don't want to do these in person, although in person is best. It's just a lot of pressure, and oftentimes we end up not doing it, where online it's so much easier to do. And finally, we're going to focus on what we call big fish outreach. Now, what the heck is big fish outreach? Well, what this is we are focusing on different types of people who can actually drive a lot of business to us. So this could be home builders. This could be property managers. This could be relocation companies. This could be large investors. And a lot of times these people already have real estate agents. And so this is why the big fish strategy takes some time. Now, we actually have done a video on this, on how you can market to builders. So you can learn a little bit more about that if you'd like. However, the premise behind it is basically reaching out to them on about a monthly basis. When your first reach out is going to be an email, your second reach out is going to be a gift. And within that gift, you can do something more traditional like a gift basket. But what I really like to do is I like to do something that's a little bit different. This is the one that I really like. And it's sending a little prescription pill bottle full of Skittles. And basically on there, all you're going to say is, if you're sick of your homes not selling in this market, give me a call. You're just doing something that's going to differentiate you from other agents out there. Now, with this little pill bottle strategy, I would put that in with something larger as well. Maybe you have a gift card in there. Maybe you do have a little gift basket. Maybe you have some sort of food that you're delivering to them, but have that little pill bottle because it's a very, very useful strategy. And it actually causes people to say, this is actually kind of interesting and different. Then after that, you're following up with an email and you're staying in touch with them over time. Eventually, one of these big fish is going to want to change whoever they're dealing with, and you're going to be the one that comes to mind. Thank you very much for watching or listening to this episode. Remember, you can reach out anytime at revrealestateschool.com, or I'm on Instagram at the.michael.montgomery. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next lesson.